Welcome, everybody, to another edition of the .NET Foundation Project Spotlight, a place where we talk about really great foundation projects. And I'm really excited to talk about Jose and a project for the .NET Foundation that he runs. So, do you want to go ahead and introduce yourself, Jose?
Yeah, sure, Zach. Isaac, thank you for the invitation for being here. I'm José Simões. I'm from Portugal. I'm the CEO of ECLO, a company that I founded with three colleagues from university back in 2003. We offer solutions for cold chain monitoring, mostly for agriculture, pharma, food, and all that stuff. We also have a business unit that deals with embedded systems development. We do from electronics design and also firmware. At some point, we run into .NET microframework back in the day, which it was a tool that we loved. At some point, that project went south, and we decided to revive it. It wasn't possible. We spin it off, me and a couple of other guys, and we started .NET nanoFramework, and this is where we are at now.
That's great. So, it sounds to me like you have a good amount of experience, like in the small device space. So, what kind of triggered your interest in that area specifically?
Yes, I do. Since teenager, since I can remember,
Sure.
I started coding with the ZX Spectrum from Sinclair back in the day with Basic. I also like electronics. I used to do my own PCBs. So this is something that it's I've been doing for as long as I know me.
That's awesome. I mean, so, one of the things that I love about small devices is that you can kind of build all sorts of interesting solutions on them, right? And as a .NET developer, one of the things that I do see a lot is that there's not a ton of options for, building stuff on small devices, but being able to write it in C Sharp and in .NET. So I imagine .NET Nano Framework solves the problem, right?
Oh, yes, absolutely. For embedded systems, the usual thought process or the framework is C and C++. But this is not true for a long time. You can write for embedded systems using .NET C Sharp. That's what we are doing here. And when we are talking small devices, it's even smaller in constraint than a Raspberry,
Yeah.
for example. We can run on a microcontroller with just 64 Ks of RAM and 128 Ks of flash, which is pretty amazing.
Wow, that is not small device. That's like a micro device, right? I think
Indeed.
one thing that I think a lot of .NET developers would love to find out is, you know, how easy it is with .NET Nano Framework just getting started. Like, let's just use the canonical example, like a Raspberry Pi, right? So,
Mhm.
what are some of the things that .NET Nano Framework allows folks to do, especially in that tinker space?
It does a lot, and you can get on board on pretty much every level that you feel comfortable with. You just need to install an extension on Visual Studio, and the rest is you are good to go. If you are a desktop developer, for example, and you are keen about embedded systems, you will feel right at home because you just fire Visual Studio, start a solution, a blank project from a template. You grab the nuggets just like you are used to do if you are coding a desktop application, and you plug your board just using a cheap USB cable, and you are coding and debugging right on the board, executing code there with no sweat.
Yeah, no, I mean, as somebody who I can't even count the amount of Raspberry Pis I have in my house, and it kind of forced me to learn like other languages, right? As a .NET developer, I would have loved to be able to do all these things in .NET. I'm not complaining about learning other languages because that's great, but
Mhm.
being able to do the things you love in the tool with the tools that you love is really exciting. So, what are some of the things that are coming for? I know that it's fairly new to the foundation, correct? So, as of, so we're recording this in September of 2021.
Mhm.
So what are some of the things that folks that maybe have not heard of .NET Nano Framework, some of the things that are already there that can help them, or are things that are coming in the future that can make their experience even better?
Yes, some feature that is highly requested. It's generics. We are about to have generics. We just have a couple of wrinkles that we have to manage with the Visual Studio extension. But when we have that, I dare to say that will be pretty much paired with the full framework. I mean, we don't have all the APIs that are there because that doesn't make sense. Otherwise, we wouldn't be Nano. But all that you can dream of doing with Nano Framework and the C Sharp and .NET, you can do it. No doubts about it.
That's great. I think as a .NET developer, being able to take advantage of some of the things that they're accustomed to with .NET is really exciting. So let's just walk through a scenario, right?
Yeah.
So like when you were messing around with the idea of actually building .NET Now framework, like what was the problem that you were trying to solve?
The problem that I was trying to solve is to basically try that micro framework didn't went away
Yeah.
because that was it and it still is. I usually say that we are standing in the shoulders of giants. The guys that first pulled this out were geniuses. And it was a shame to go all this go away because being able to program for microcontrollers using C Sharp, it's something great. You can do that and learning to code or even to complicated projects, IoT, gadgets, whatever you can do that, and it's a great platform for learning and for commercial use. So it would be a waste and a shame seeing all this go away. That's one of the main drivers that put me on to this.
That's great. So if I'm a developer and I want to, maybe I come across that in an ML framework, I'm very interested in
Mhm.
the embedded system space. What are some of the things that I can do to help you and the folks that maintain the project? Like, how can I help contribute?
Oh, sure. You can go to our GitHub organization. We have there the projects and the boards with the tasks that are open, planning and all that. You can grab open issues to learn your way around it. And because we touch from C and C++ to C Sharp, I mean, the firmware and all the
Yeah.
low-level stuff is coded in C and C++. So if you are into that, you can help at that level. If you are a C Sharp developer, there's plenty of work to do from the class libraries. All our tools are developed in C Sharp, the Visual Studio extension too, of course. So it's plenty of ways to helping up. Others are just even if you're just trying things and report bugs or something that you find that's not working, it's also helpful, of course. We have also the Discord community, which is very helpful and a lot of folks there. And if you can learn stuff, answering, welcome the newbies and the people that are just arriving. So a lot of work is there, and being an open source project, there is always plenty of stuff to do and very short time for it.
Yeah. I think one thing you didn't mention that I imagine that you would love to get some help on was docs, right? So I think,
Oh yes.
yeah, contributing to docs I think is one of the easiest ways for people to immediately start contributing and providing value. Because I can speak for you, but I can speak for me as somebody who plays around in open source projects a lot and builds things. Like the docs are always the last thing to come, right? So being able to
Hmm.
help out some of these projects with contribution to docs or even just kind of clearing up docs that already exist is super powerful.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I think, one of the things I'm also curious about is, as since you're a member of the .NET Foundation, your project is, how has the .NET Foundation helped you kind of continue to maintain the project and allow the project to be successful?
It has already helped us on a few occasions. One of them, perhaps the major one, was to get in touch with the NuGet team, and because one of the things that we are short is the that used to be was the TFM, the target framework moniker,
Sure.
to allow us to have our own project system and all that stuff. And to be able to use Nugget to update the projects and all that stuff. That was something that wasn't possible before. And reaching out to the .NET Foundation put us in contact with the Nugget team. And after a few iterations, Nugget now it's able to knows .NET Nano Framework. It's able to update NuGets, install them, and the next step is to update our project systems to use SDK because we are still on the old style. And so this is one of the things that it would have been harder or even impossible, I say,
Sure.
without the help from the .NET Foundation.
That's great. I'm really glad to hear that. The .NET Foundation has helped you as your project has matured to a point where a lot of people can use it, and a lot of people probably depend on it for the work they're doing. So kudos. As we kind of end, Jose, I'd like to get some parting words from you. Like, how can people, how do people access the repo for .NET Nano Framework? Like, what are some of the things that people should, introducing themselves to the project? Like, what should they look out for?
They for the quickest interaction, the best way is to join our Discord server, and there you have an helpful community, very friendly, like I already mentioned. Very easy to ask questions there. There are channels with the various topics. You go there and you pick the one that you think it's most appropriate for your question, and you are good to go. Pretty much any of the mainstream boards that you find out there, from the cheapest to the most expensive ones, from the ESP32, Atom, Pico, SD boards, NXP, TI, whatever you have there on the garage. It probably there is a ready to flash firmware image for you to use.
That's good. I actually have one last question. I'm sorry. So, what is your
No, hit me.
favorite micro device to work with?
I like very much the SD boards.
The SD boards.
They're very complete. Can do allow you to do a lot of stuff. Have internet connectivity and a bunch of memory, plenty of variants. So it's one of my favorites, I can say.
That's great. Well, I really appreciate you taking the time to chat with us, Jose. So, for all the people that are interested in learning more about .NET Nano Framework, there's going to be some information about it as well as links to that Discord channel in the Project Spotlight page. So, my name is Isaac Levin, member of the marketing committee for the .NET Foundation. I thank you so much for joining and enjoy the rest of your day. Take care.